Hamatakuyapi and Yushion Wanshiakapi. Uh, I'd like to call this tribal council meeting to order. Today is September 23rd, 2025. Uh, Currently residing, we have the chair, the secretary, and historian. Um, we'll jump right into reports. Chair report. There's not a lot to report. Did a great job on the powwow. Shout out Carol Labine and Cassandra Roy. Um, and John Labine actually too. Besides that, not a mu- not a lot that we won't talk about through this meeting. Carol currently isn't here, so we can skip over the vice chairs, and Tracy is also not here, so we will skip over the treasurers for now, and we'll go to the secretary report. Danielle.
Nothing to report this week, except as it relates to the contract, and we will talk about the contract when we get to the contract.
Perfect. All right, last one is historian report. Greg, have anything to report?
Well, they don't have anything other than from the powwow stuff. But
Cool.
I'll write most of this stuff I'm going to write down in a thing. It's kind of a list of stuff that we kind of need to fix some things up. But Pro Belcourt was hinting at wanting to be on the powwow committee.
Uh-huh.
And I want to think Barry had mentioned it, but I thought it might have been somebody else, but I can't remember. If it was Barry, maybe, I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure.
Shishoka also,
Who did you say?
Yes.
Shishoka.
Shishoka Duto.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that, him too. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't know, you guys probably didn't know this, but I was playing some music on Sunday morning, some music that I got from a couple albums I got from the school they were giving away free, recorded in 1965 on Pine Ridge.
Ooh.
And lo and
Ooh.
behold, Scotty knew him. Scotty knew the singer. Was it one of his uncles?
Ooh.
But Jerry wants to get them recordings to him, and that's when he kind of mentioned that he did teach singing and all that too. So it might be worth trying to maybe hire him to maybe start to maybe get one of our drum groups going, you
Uh-huh.
know. And I do know someone who may be wanting to take on that responsibility, and that is Chris Antillo. Because I talked to him about doing a drum group before, and he was very interested in that. So,
Uh-huh.
and he was
Let's
at
do
the
it.
powwow visiting me a couple times. Um, so that's the report I got right now. It was a
Oh, well,
good,
shit.
good powwow. I got a couple of videos. They're a little shaky at the start till I get my camera going, and that is one thing that's on my list about getting some cameras for the stand there. We can find some fairly cheap video cameras these days. Um, so with a nice little boom mic on them, and I think they'll do fantastic. Better than they're better than my phone, let's say. So,
Uh-huh.
all right, I'm done.
Oh, dame. Well, shit. Um, that's the last that we have for people to report. We can go into old business. There is no old business. So now we can go into new business. First item on the new business is the contract with Jeff Nelson and MCT Law for representation on the federal recognition case and assistance in locating investors. Danielle, would you like to take that?
Yes, and I will fill Greg in because I think Greg missed these meetings.
Uh-huh.
So we have been meeting with an attorney from MCT Law, which is based in Washington, but has offices at a couple other places as well. And they work with one of the areas that the lawyer within MCT that we talked to works with is Indian law and including federal recognition. And he's currently representing the Mattapanai in Virginia and working on their case based on the previous successful case of the Pamunkey. So
And no
this would not
conflicts with Shakopee, right?
what?
We have no conflicts with Shakopee on.
No, no, we already
All right.
checked that. We don't.
All right.
So what this would do, and this is the thing, how this is different from Christine Grabowski is Christine Grabowski is a consultant. She is not an attorney, as she has made abundantly clear. So ideally, we would still want to be working with her in terms of advice on how to craft the narrative. The
Yeah.
role of Jeff Nelson would be to work with us on the legal end of things, like if there were challenges to like our case, or if we had to file an appeal or something of that nature. So we would be working with him on that level.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is Christine and Jeff have both said quite firmly that we need to have some kind of sponsorship going forward, that we're not going to make it sort of, pro bono and wish and hope. So the other task that he would be taking on would be to help us locate and negotiate with a potential investor who would support us through the federal recognition process, with the understanding that they would be able to, benefit in some way once we've achieved federal recognition. And that could be, I think we're putting kind of cannabis and healthcare as potential investment opportunities ahead of casino, but I mean, gaming may be on the table. We have to be honest about this. So if we hire Jeff just for the FedRec part, then we would be paying his full salary or his full hourly. If we hired him for the FedRec and to help us with the negotiations for an investor, then we would be paying half of his rate. And then the other half of his rate would be covered by whatever investor it was that took us up. And then the investor would cover our costs forward through there, with the understanding, I mean, they would be investing because they think they're getting something out of it at the end.
Yeah.
So Jeff has sent us, or rather Jeff's paralegal has sent us a contract to look at, and I can bring that up here. I do share screen. I had to like close some of my screens to make my life easier. I like seeing my like draft of my book or something weird. All right. See if I can make this a little bit bigger. Give me a second. Not that. And there we go. You guys, oops. Get out of the way for a minute. There we go. So here's like the important part here, right? So they'd be providing legal assistance, representation. You can read this part. So has everyone read to the bottom of that? Where did you all go? Oh,
Yep.
I get my screen back up there. I hit the wrong thing. Sure, there we go. And then this is the other part of what they would be providing. And then we would be paying a retainer of $5,000 up front to retain their services. And then the hourly fees would be, we would be paying 50% of it, and then 50% would be deferred until they had located an investor for
An
us.
investor. Okay.
So we build every 30 days. We can terminate this agreement, if we don't like what's going on. And then one thing we do have to fix on here is they left off Greg. So where's the, wherever there's a place you have to sign, there isn't a place. Oh, actually, no, sorry, got this confused with something else. So it would just be Dakota signing this. If we want everybody on council to sign it, then we would have to get that revised. So is there any questions, anything you want to bring up?
Mm,
Change?
I don't think so. I think you covered it pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they are willing to, defer 50% of the payment suggests to me that they
Yeah,
think they're going to find an investor. We need, if we are going, even on our own, going to try to approach anybody for any sort of a business deal, we're going to need legal representation.
yeah.
That's been a mistake that was made a lot in the past, where we just thought we'd bebop up there and talk to people's lawyers when we had no idea what we were doing.
Mhm.
So we don't want to do that again.
Okay.
Uh,
Um, so yeah,
Sounds pretty good.
okay. So I guess what will be motion
Well,
to,
let's say we can't really do much by us three right at the moment on this.
well,
We could
we
vote
have,
on it. We got a quorum, I know.
we have quorum.
Um, we could put our stamp on it and let the other two read it and put their stamp on it too if they want.
The other two have it.
Yeah.
So somehow you got left off the email list. I'll get you on the email so you're
Yeah.
getting things.
Well, I probably got it, but I just basically was working on my computer last night and this morning and this afternoon to get it up and running. Um, so I'm just
So
up and running with a brand new monitor and everything today. So
I would say, would do the three of us approve this pending the approval from Carol and Tracy?
yeah,
okay.
So that would be my motion.
I second it.
Okay. All in
all
favor?
in, I
Oh,
Any opposed? So probably what we should do, because I think, they have been calling back. And I think we would like to move forward with this because we do have other
yeah,
financial issues we have to worry about. So, besides this case, so why don't we can contact Dakota, you can contact Tracy and Carol by email and get their feedback.
uh,
And I mean, at this point, it's a $5,000 commitment,
yep,
right?
yep.
If we, we start out this relationship, we don't like it, we can break off this
And right now,
relationship.
nothing's really going to happen for the moment. So other than maybe they're going to hopefully try to find somebody who could be a,
Well, the next step, so if we sign this,
yep,
the next step is that we will be giving them access to our federal recognition
yep,
petition so that they can begin to go over it and see where we are
yeah,
and how close we are to submission. I need to contact Christine and also get her feedback on the narrative and, what she sees, kind of, if we were to hire her, what she sees herself doing.
yep. That's probably going to be contingent kind of on if we get some client funding, hopefully,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
So all right,
Well, I mean, that's the thing is what we can do with Christine now is we can get kind of an estimate on where we are.
yep,
And
I
even
know.
then, she'll say you have to be a little careful because sometimes there could be something that you don't know how long that's going to take to research. But
That's
we can at
right.
least get a sense, try what
We're
we've
going to
at,
get a jump start with Christine.
what we've asked from her is a sense of scale, like how many thousands or tens of thousands of dollars of work are we talking about?
Yeah,
Um,
yep,
so okay. So we will contact Carol and Tracy and get their approval on this. All right. Dakota, any thoughts,
yes.
comments moving forward?
Um, I think, I mean, I voted for it. I think we should move on this. I think based off of all the people that have vastly more expertise in this field than any of us, these are their recommendations. Is that we're gonna need a lawyer. That is something that we're gonna need. If we want to do this and have the best chance of getting federal recognition, that would be through an investor,
yep,
Mhm.
right?
Well, through an
yep,
investor
Those
and
are,
having a professional consultant working on the
yes,
case.
yes. And like that's the point of getting the investor so we can pay for professional consultants. Like it all kind of works together.
Mhm.
And so, and that's honestly the fastest, most direct line to FedRec that we can hope for. So,
And I would compare this with what we're doing right now with the finances, is that
Uh-huh.
we're taking it as far as we can in-house and doing work that,
Yes.
you know, can maybe save us some time and money in-house, but there's going to be a time we finally will have to call in the auditor.
Yep.
So, because we'll reach the limits of what we can do. Okay. So, okay, so the next case, what's the next thing on the agenda?
Constitution
The
bylaw.
next, reviewing the Constitution and bylaw revisions forwarded by the Governance Committee. Um, I have those pulled up. I just have to again find the tab.
I
'Cause I
can pull it
also
up
have several.
because I've got it here. Hang on, give me a second. It's gonna be here. I think I can jump over to this one. There we are. Nonsense. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So there have been a couple of issues, and I don't, or Dakota, you can start with this in terms of like the discussions that have been going on the last while about this.
Um, there have been a lot of discussions on what going forward would look like, what steps we need to take within our membership, and how we go forward from there, I guess.
Membership and
Oh,
enrollment have
enrollment based,
been.
yes. And so, I
So
mean, I
let's,
think,
yeah.
uh, I'm giving it a quick scan as we are looking at it because there
I'm
are
just
highlighted parts to discuss. So, like, one would be our adopted membership. There are decisions that need to be made on that.
So
There's
we can
been
start going through here, just going page by
perfect.
page, right? So
Yes,
really good introduction. Article 1 is just a matter of changing tribe to community,
correct.
Indigenous Americans. So the first significant change here we have, and we're going to have to send this back to them for review. I already mentioned this. Based on Christine, descendancy membership is not. Let's see. Okay, no, wait, that is right. So descendancy membership are people whose parents were not enrolled in the community.
Uh-huh.
So we would expect those people to be 18 years of age in order to fill out the documents and like get all of that notarized, right?
Hmm.
So that makes sense. Let's keep going down here. Um, and there's a weird eye hanging out there, but I'll let them do their
But then,
editing themselves. I'm not going to copy edit this. Okay, so now we get down to 1.4. These are lineal members. So these are if your mom or dad was already enrolled and you have sort of are legally enrolled. Um, so what we do want to change here is lineal members shall automatically become descendancy members when they turn 18. Okay, that's fine. So I guess they're lineal members until age 18. And just making sure that like we're not enrolling people at age 18 if they're already born into the tribe. Okay, so this is the first part they wanted us to talk about, adopted members. So go ahead and take a read of that.
gotcha. Adopted members. All minor children under 18 years of age who are legally adopted by an enrolled descendancy member of the Mendota Metawakan Dakota Tribal Community of Minnesota. 2.1, upon turning 18 years of age, adopted members who are not lineal descendants of the Dakota ancestors listed in section 1 above are considered full members of the community and have the same rights and obligations as descendancy members. However, they may not hold tribal office, and these rights shall not apply to their descendants. Or the other option would be upon turning 18 years of age, adopted members who are not lineal descendants of Dakota ancestors listed in section 1.1 descendancy members above are not considered enrolled members of the community. They may not vote, nor hold any tribal council positions.
Okay. So, oops, sorry, I was trying to get my get your faces to come back without it doing that. Hang on. Stop share and it just stopped.
Well, I did do some reading on the emails exchange over Mihunka. And like Jeff does, is it Jeff? No, I think it was Corey was talking about it is a one of the seven rights of the Chanupa, the pipe. So I think we got a hew pretty close to that line, is what I think. You know, does that make any sense?
Uh, so this is about legal adoption.
I know.
And if
I
we're talking
understand.
about Junca adoptions, like that holds no merit in any tribe. If you got Junca'd in to someone
Yeah.
that lives in Cheyenne River, you do not get an enrollment card to be in Cheyenne River.
Okay.
If you're Junca'd into Shakopee, you don't get an enrollment card and are now part of Shakopee. You are the way Junca works is you are a part of that family, sure,
Yeah.
but that doesn't automatically make you now a member of a tribe because that is a legal entity with specific obligations, which is why I don't think this is
Okay. I understand
talking
what you're
about
saying.
Junca.
I
Yeah.
comprehend. So I have to process it a little more, you know. So
I mean, from a federal rec perspective, I am more in favor of the second,
Uh-huh.
which is because we're not saying, for example, if we were offering, for example, a children's summer camp, right?
Right.
I don't think we would be barring your
right.
one adopted child from
Yeah.
participating in that activity. But what we are saying is that, in terms of that's different from being coming to the feast is different from being enrolled in the tribe and like having voting rights or having the right to hold office or having the right to pass that status on to your descendants. What do
Yeah.
you all think?
Well, I mean, if we got to decide right now, um, is this what has got to go on to the general council eventually, right?
Eventually, but this right now we would be sending it back to the governing committee. So what we're
Okay.
doing right now is we will make our review. We will send our comments back to the governing committee.
So,
They will produce another document that they will send forward to us. And this was a place where they got gridlocked. So let's talk about what the real differences are here. In the first one, they would be allowed to vote.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And potentially, I mean, I suppose if there were ever any sort of benefits that were extended only to enrolled members, they would qualify for those, which we don't have any of those at this time. So right now, all this would mean is that they could vote,
Yep.
or in the second case, they don't vote. They can't vote.
Yeah.
And there's also, this is specific, just also we should highlight, this is specific to minor children of descendancy members. This is not about adult adoption. So like even though you're saying about the Hunka thing, like some of that would be kind of in a different space
Well,
generally.
how about I understand about the hookup, right? But
Mhm.
let's say this. Let's say that adopted child is turning 18
Mhm.
and his brother, who is a lineal descendant, right? It was turned 18 a year before and got a lot of money from the community for college, but this one doesn't. I think I know we don't have to have this in this here document, right?
Yes.
But we can spell it out under some other things that can make them feel comfortable that them being part of our community still we're gonna help support them in certain areas, you
And I
know?
think there should be something like if this is a benefit that's coming from inside the tribe. Like for example, we
Yeah.
start to offer scholarships. We can offer scholarships to children of
A community.
descendancy members. And so it wouldn't matter if they were stepchildren or
Adopted or
adopted
not,
children or
Correct.
biological.
I
Right.
think this is more going down the lines of, do they qualify for IHS,
Right.
right? Do they qualify for, in the state of Minnesota, if you are an enrolled member of a Minnesota tribe, that affects your taxes and whether or not you're living on your reservation, things along those lines.
Mhm.
Well, the other thing we have to consider here is FedRec right now,
Yes.
right? And this is again something, and I'll keep pushing on this, is this is not for all time. This
Right.
is getting things to a place we can live with now and function with now where we are. The danger right now of saying all adopted children, right? Once 18, like we enroll all of them, that increases the number of people we have who are not going to meet the lineage requirements.
Oh,
So that's a consideration. Like that's if we were if we were federally recognized at that point, it's like it kind of doesn't matter quite as much. So that's another thing to be kept in mind. At this point, we're not getting, as a community, we're not getting IHS support. Our members don't qualify, from a lot of
Yeah.
the assistance
gotta-
anyway.
Most of that, then we gotta have 25% blood quantum, so.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I mean, and I think with things inside the community, like, if we were extending scholarships or housing assistance or something, we could define that in such a way that it could cover people that were not
Yeah.
enrolled, but were the dependents of people that were enrolled or the adult children of people who were enrolled.
Yep. Okay.
So, I mean,
Um,
it feels like to me at the moment, the question is like, do they vote or do they not vote?
I would assume they don't vote. If one, they're not going to be considered an enrolled member of the community, they don't get a vote, you know?
Well, but that's being an enrolled member of the community right now. That's because we say they can't hold office, right?
Yeah.
So
uh-huh.
that's
I
going to be the
mean,
big
if
difference
we're
right
if
now.
we're talking one or the other, yes, we're talking number two then, right?
Dakota, where are you on this?
Um,
Because I know that would affect
complex.
my brother because he's got one adopted son and one not. So
And how old
Uh-huh.
is his adopted son?
he's I think about 2 or 3 years older than Casey.
Okay, so he's
37.
he's an adult at this point.
Yes.
Okay.
They're both adults at this point.
Mhm.
One's lost, one's at least grounded.
Mhm.
Um, second one.
What?
The second one.
Second one?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a vote on this. All in favor of the first option? Okay, all in favor of the second option?
I
Oh,
Aye. Okay. To go with option 2. Mhm. Okay, so let's move along. All right, formal application procedure must be followed. It would be lovely to have a membership committee at some point. So most of this again is, so big changes in governance, aside from language, we are going to be moving into having a parliamentarian and 2 members at large and taking the historian DIPO position off the council. So I don't think everyone's cool with that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That'll help some people that are out of state feel
Well,
a
and
little more involved.
Well, and also it will get us to a position where we can have like the TIPO as a professional position, someone
Yeah.
who's trained rather than the elected position, which probably
Yeah.
shouldn't have been. Okay, elections. Just take a look at that. We're all good with that. Just say something when you want me to move the page down.
I'm done.
And then just kind of review 4.0 and 5.0.
Okay.
And we need to be retaining all of our elections records anyway, because we will need those for federal recognition case. Right. Mostly here is it's just changing of enumeration for the most part, and a couple of changes in words here and there. Because we're not Indians anymore. Here we go. I don't know. All right, so we have this here. I think this is for I'm not sure what she wanted us to comment on here. As far as I know, this is kind of boilerplate from Lower Sioux Constitution.
Uh-huh.
Greg, you've been around a bit, so you probably like recognize this section.
Yeah, it's nothing more than, yeah. Let's be honest. The area director can approve or disapprove all kinds of stuff. And that's, of course, is if it affects us where we really don't want it to happen, let's say, that's where the attorney comes in. Other than that, it's just kind of there for a placeholder.
But yeah, but at the moment we're not federally recognized, but I'm assuming that if we were
Right.
federally recognized, this is pretty much boilerplate from the other tribes' constitutions.
Yeah.
Okay. So here again, just mostly small changes. So we have a Members' Bill of Rights, ratification process. Here we had significant changes that were made here. So just how amendments are proposed. So they go, I guess, to the governance committee. I'll be so happy not to write constitutional amendment resolutions anymore. Okay, and 2.0 we don't have to worry about. I think this is again coming out of the other constitutions for the state. But we're not
Uh-huh.
federally recognized. understand. Okay, so that's the Constitution.
Looks good. Looks like they did a lot of hard work.
Oh, you haven't seen the bylaws. Here we go. So the bylaws added an introduction that wasn't there before. So go ahead, take a look at that. And then the membership section had to be completely redone. So tell me when you're ready for me to move it down.
Go ahead.
So I guess some things to note here at the moment, we don't require a membership vote in order to enroll someone in the community. It's just a yes or no. If you qualify and enrollment is opened, we enroll you. We're fine with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so here's the rights of the enrolled descendancy member.
Looks good.
Okay, and then just note part 3.0. Did we want to add here a clause about the fact that if you somebody voluntarily disenrolls, that they are not they don't qualify to re-enroll?
I say that, or that people that disenroll, if they choose to re-enroll, it is up to the council to vote upon it. It's
Okay.
one of those two options.
All right, which one do you want? Do you want them barred for all time, or do you want them to have to, in that case, go for a vote of the council?
Well, I'm thinking if they disenroll and then re-enroll, I think it should even go beyond the tribal council. I think it'd be a general council vote at that point. Because there's got to be a reason why somebody disenroll.
Well, we're trying to make it so we had a situation this summer. Names will not be named, but we're trying to make it so that this is not something that is done lightly.
Yes.
So what recommendation do we want to send? Or do we want to send them both back to the governance committee and have them argue about it?
I think I let them argue about it a little more with, maybe a couple ideas,
Okay, so say one, that they're barred from re-enrolling.
Yep.
Or two, can only re-enroll after a vote of.
Let's put either the tribal council or general council. We don't know which yet. Let's get some other advice from Carol and Tracy and anybody else on the committee there. Because I think, like it says, it's an important thing to pull yourself out of a community, right? So
Yes.
you make it hard for that
To
person
just
to think
try
twice,
to jump back in.
to think twice from doing it.
Yeah.
And somehow I think we should take it out of the tribal council's hands at that point, So
Okay.
so that way it stays away from being political, If it goes to the general council, So or make them go through a bunch of hoops.
Make them go through each one of the counts.
Make them make a lacrosse stick.
Or they have to go chop
their
wood
duty.
for every family in the community and then they can come back.
There
Yeah,
you go.
in that tradition way, that should do go. Um, okay, so next article would be the duties.
But yeah, the duties, all the stuff in red is being removed, so we don't have to worry about any
Yep.
of that. All right, so duties. So nothing like terribly exciting there. We all need to like, brush up Robert's Rules of Order if we haven't been there to look at that in a while.
Uh-huh.
Um,
There's always a good cheat sheet on that, so out there.
so yeah, the representative shall not be an adopted member.
Uh-huh.
And again, if we're just saying adopted members after 18 don't get status, then that doesn't matter at
Right.
that point.
That could probably be removed eventually. So
So, administrative policy. Okay. Training. There's my job.
Ooh, actually on yours
Mm-hmm.
specifically, I was reading earlier, all the tribal council and business council meetings, is business council specifically about a business council, or is that
Oh,
in terms of general council? And if so, does that language matter?
I don't know. And this is something let's ask because I don't know what the business council is,
yeah.
right? Let's go
Yes.
back
Well,
up here.
So
I mean,
could we?
that's what I was going to ask. I mean, we as a tribal council do certain things, and the business council can do other things. I mean, it's nice to
Correct.
be able to get some of that stuff off of the tribal council, which is mostly political stuff that we got to deal with the tribal community and all that. Whereas the business council can actually handle some of that stuff
Well,
that
let's see what
Business
the
business.
stuff.
let's see what the business council is, if it's even defined in here. So we're talking about the duties of the tribal council.
Yes, I
It
don't
has
know if
like
I see it in there
tribal council, and then suddenly like business council. I think we should ask what that is because in the old documents they were used as synonyms. And also if you go through the governing pages for the different Dakota tribes, some of them
Uh-huh.
have business councils, some of them have
anyway.
tribal councils. This
Yeah,
isn't like necessarily a council that would be running like an economic endeavor. This is like a council that
Yeah.
would be running the business of the community. So we can just ask what that is. That might be a hangover from something else. Otherwise, we're going to need a second secretary because how many meetings can a person go to?
That and that's what I'm saying. I
well,
think it's supposed to be general counsel because I don't see business counsel used anywhere else in
Hmm.
this
yes.
document.
But keep that in the back of your head. We will probably need one eventually if we do get federal recognition. So
Yeah, but right now let's just ask them
yeah.
what they meant by that.
Uh,
Okay, so treasurer, primary signatory, um, annual audit. Oh yeah, tribal council or general council. I think they meant general council there where they said business council, but we can just ask.
uh,
Because here it says like further down we're in the
yeah.
general council, right?
Yes.
So, wow, Tracy has a lot of jobs.
Hmm.
Okay. Parliamentarian, so this is a new position, and this would replace the historian.
Uh,
And then here's the member at large. So, I'm not going to look deep into the tribal court because I don't think she's changed that a lot.
Yeah.
They've changed that a lot, and that's not something we need to work on even developing. Okay, removal officials. Here we go.
yeah.
This one has gone through a lot of transformation, so.
I think the only thing I ever always had problems with this part, at some point was it says any enrolled descendancy member. I always thought it should like at minimum be like maybe a small petition signed by a small number. It doesn't have to be one, but that stops one person from being that troublemaker for everybody.
I mean, I think that's why you have like the $200 fee and the
Yeah,
$10,000 frivolous fine. I mean, I could see a situation where, for example, say you had a case of sexual assault, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
That might be reported by one person and not by a small committee of people.
Group. Yeah.
So, I don't think we should put someone in a situation
No,
where like they have to air their dirty laundry to everybody else so they can get enough
Yeah.
people to come make a protest against a council member.
Yeah, I'll be honest, in that situation, I don't know if I even have a $200 filing fee for it. But um
I mean, just not necessarily, but if there could be something that is specific to one person, right?
yeah.
That there's somebody who has been singled out and abused in a particular way that is egregious enough that that officer should be removed from the council, right? But it might not be something, it might be, an act against one individual versus an act against the entire community. Tell me when you're ready to move down.
I'm still pondering
Okay.
different scenarios on that. It's because I mean I know if it's sexual misconduct that pretty much got to go to the law enforcement.
Well, if it
And
were something, not necessarily, if it were something like quid pro quo, right?
yeah,
Then it doesn't rise to the level of going to law enforcement. But for us, it would rise to the level of this person really shouldn't be the tribal chairperson.
uh-huh.
yeah, I understand, but at that point you probably should be able to get a few people to sign on to it. Rather than just one. It's like one person making waves all the time. But
But
let's
then
move on.
again, that's the
Yes, but
frivolous,
that one
that's the
person would
frivolous
have to
part.
pay $200
Yeah,
per complaint.
yeah, and there are
And
some
if we
people
do the
that'll.
court and it finds out that there was no reason for them to make said complaint, now they are owing a $10,000 fine.
I mean, yeah.
So at the end of the day, they are spending $10,000, $10,200 if it is a frivolous thing, if they are just making waves to make waves.
Yeah.
And if they want to do that, then honestly, if anyone in our tribe has the money to do that and wants to continuously do that and pay $10,000 to the tribe to complain, I welcome them to do so. And we can go through this every single time and we can make 10K.
Or doesn't pay the rent.
That's
Right?
what I'm saying, like at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll move on. So,
I mean, I would say just to play devil's advocate, Greg, I mean, you could equally have a small faction of people, right, who don't
yeah,
like somebody else and who are trying to get them out of power and start making frivolous
yeah,
complaints.
and they're going to anyways. I
And
know.
we've seen that sort of factional politics happen before in
Yeah.
the community.
Mhm.
But this way, if you have a situation where one particular person is being singled out in one way or another, or the abuse is really being directed at one person, we don't have to wait for there to be, 5 or 6 offenses before, that can be investigated. I mean, that would be my argument. But let's see. So let's go on to,
Meetings, I
yeah, we
believe
can
is the
keep
next
reading
one.
this. This is still about the process here. Let's see. Also,
I've read it all. I've read it all.
yeah. So Greg, if you look at 1.8, also it says you can't you make a complaint, it's frivolous, you have to pay $10,000. Until you've paid that $10,000, you don't get to make another complaint. Right?
Yeah.
So that unless we have someone who just got a lot of money to burn, hopefully
Yeah.
that will
I mean, that
slow
kind of
down.
answers one of the things is we're right now just a tribal court with no powers, So,
Mhm.
you know, we can't force anybody to pay $10,000, but we can also say that, you can't make another complaint until it's paid. So, looks
So
good.
a significant change just on 1.14. If a person's removed, they won't be eligible for any open positions, period. There's not just a cooling off period and they can come back in 4 years anymore.
No, I agree with that. Personally, I guys have differing opinions. I'd like to hear them, but
Have vacancies. Nothing really was changed there except some wording. Just then we get meetings. Uh, so I guess we all have to go get a copy of the newly revised version of Robert's Rules of Order. Yippee skippy.
uh-huh.
Um, all meetings will have an agenda. Meeting minutes shall be taken. Okay. So we're going to be holding general council meetings once a month. Once this is approved.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. So here's something we can talk about. Special meetings shall be called by any member of the tribal council within 7 days of the receipt of a petition. Oh, okay, so that's if 1/3 of the membership calls for. Okay, I've got that. So if we want to do a special meeting, 2 tribal council officers can call for that,
Uh-huh.
or the chair can call for that, or 1/3 of the community can call for that.
Yep, sounds good.
Let's see. Electronically. So we need to work on the 5 business days notice. I'm not always as good at that as I could be. Quorum is now going to be raised to 30.
Uh-huh.
And then constitution is a higher threshold. That's still at the 2/3 of the members have to participate. each tribal council. I know who put that one in, 4.3.
Meeting minutes shall record how each tribal council member voted.
Mm-hmm. Quorum is 3, so members, okay. Amendments, so this is just how you can now post amendments. Oh, there is something I think I must have like zoomed right past it. I will go back. Hang on. Community approval. Let me go back. I'm sorry to go back to this. It's just I know this was a heated issue and it's under the membership one, and I think I just like zipped right by it. Here we go, under membership. So there is, maybe it was under constitution and enrollment. Give me a minute.
Open enrollment?
Yes, the part where it says enrollment is open when federal recognition is achieved. Is that in constitution or is that in
I don't know. I
constitution?
just know that was one discussion in the
Oh yeah,
email.
that was the discussion in many ways. So let's just go back to elections, governing body, enrollment. Here we go. I'm sorry to jump back to the constitution on you.
Yeah, which one is
But
it? It's 4-0.
4.0, I wanted to bring this up and somehow
Well,
I spaced it. So it says enrollment shall remain open after federal recognition is received. Enrollment may be closed at the discretion of the general council.
well, here's my input on that. When you obtain federal recognition, they will open the roll
Okay.
for a set time. That doesn't mean they're just going to stay open, you know?
Yes.
Because once now that we obtain that status, now we have to give the opportunity for other people to enroll. Now the number in the past was 25,000. Is it up to 30 today? Probably due to children and all that. That's about all I can add on that.
But I mean, Greg, that 25,000 also included people that have since enrolled in other tribes. It included people who are dead now because it was 20
that's
years
true.
ago.
Definitely a lot of them have died, so.
Yeah, because I've been through some of the Wolfchild documents and some of those lists. It's not, and we're not using those. We're working off of a different set of roles than we're working off of. So if you're like on the McLaughlin, that doesn't actually necessarily qualify you to be in our community because we don't enroll off the McLaughlin.
Yeah.
So it won't be 25,000. So do you have is there a place, Greg, where you can like point to for just this discussion to say that
Well, this
the
is what
the roles will get open if we get the FedRec? Do you know?
I'd have to go do research on that, but there was definitely ones that had obtained it and they do open the rolls. That's all I remember. You know?
Okay.
So
So what I wanted to propose on this after federal.
and they could only be open for 30 days, I believe. So
Okay. So what I wanted to propose here is you have the roles shall remain open after federal recognition is received, which doesn't actually say anything about whether the roles are open or closed now. It just feels like a weird statement.
yeah.
So I mean, my proposal.
Technically, I think it doesn't need to be in there myself.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I think that maybe we could have just the roles may be opened or closed at the discretion of the general council and leave it at that.
I would say at the discretion of the Secretary of Interior, who would make after we get that
But
decision.
that's after, yeah, that's after.
Right. So yeah, so basically,
Although it's
enrollment opening, it would be based to the general council.
But right now it would be based on, and actually after, I mean, Shakopee isn't opening and closing their roles right now based on the Secretary of the Interior.
They will, based on certain things that they want to do.
Yeah, no, but they're making that decision, not the Secretary of the Interior telling Shakopee you have to open the roles.
Yeah, well, it's only dependent on what they're doing. Is like it says, sometimes if they want to take land that's not attached to their original land, but they want to do something on it that's not really legal, they will offer something up. It might be open enrollment, but I don't think Shakopee would ever do that.
No, but then what I'm saying is that I've read through a lot of the court cases and stuff surrounding the 1990s is that the Secretary of the Interior couldn't come in and tell Shakopee, you have to open your roll, right?
Yeah, probably not.
No.
I mean, in the end, they probably would lose at the Supreme
Mhm.
Court.
Because
So.
that's what there were all these lawsuits around was, Shakopee complaining that the BIA was stepping in and telling them how to run their rolls
Yeah.
and that they didn't do that. So, I mean, what I would say is on 4, I would just say rather than this before FedRec, after FedRec thing, just enrollment may be opened or closed at the discretion of the General Counsel and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we need to excessively specify.
Actually, I would probably remove the whole first sentence
Yes.
and just leave it. Enrollment may be,
Yeah.
well, enrollment may be open or closed at the discretion. Yeah. Just, without having that federal recognition even involved in it.
Yeah. And just
So.
leave it at that, because then that allows us, like we're going into FedRec, that allows us to close the rolls right before we go into FedRec.
Yeah.
It then allows us to open the rolls once we have gotten FedRec as
Or,
well.
or even 5 years down the road, if it makes sense for us to do that, right? We still
Yeah.
haven't gotten to FedRec, but for some reason we want to open the rolls for 30 days or something, we can do that.
Yep.
But I think the simpler we keep this, the better. I don't think we need to be putting anything more in here
Right.
than absolutely necessary.
Uh-huh.
So those are the recommendations. So let's just review the recommendations we would send back. On the Constitution, we would recommend that we go with the second option, which is that in adopted children of descendancy members are not enrolled as, once they reach the age of 18 as lineal members, or as descendancy members. And then in the Constitution under 4.0, we eliminate that first sentence and then we change it to enrollment may be opened or closed at the discretion of General Counsel. Let's see. Then in the bylaws, we would want to say, for if there's voluntary disenrollment, that there's some barrier to coming back if you have voluntarily disenrolled from the community.
Yeah.
And we can just give those two options of either you can't come back or that you have to be approved through a vote of the General Counsel to come back. And then under the duties of tribal council officers, we're going to ask what the business council is. I'm fairly sure that's just a typo and it should be General Counsel. So that's what we have. Sound good?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
All right. I'm going to stop share. And so we will send these recommendations back to the governing committee. They will do a revision and send them back to us.
Of just those ones, correct? Because
Just
the rest,
yeah.
those ones that we just went over,
The ones we
because
just
the
went
rest
over.
is approved.
Cool.
Cool.
There's been no real conflict about the rest. I mean, the conflict
That's what I'm saying.
has been about the adoption and it's been
Mm-hmm.
about the enrollments, open roles versus closed roles. And we can add in our own comments to them that we do not, we want to stay with that clause that if you meet the qualifications to enroll, once you've applied and gone through the process, you are enrolled. There's not sort of an additional approval process or voting process. So I think that's it. Like the rest of it really wasn't in contention and there's not really much there to do with that.
Yep.
So once they kind of come back, they'll come back to us with a revision. We will okay that. And then we will put it forward to the General Counsel for their approval. And we're going to have to work really hard at that because if we need 2/3 of the people to take part in the election, and that's 2/3 of voting members, so that's not 500 people because we got a whole bunch of little kids.
I think that was Strucken.
No, it didn't. They kept that in there. Let's go
Yeah.
back again. It's
Is
two-thirds of
this on
voting members.
Constitution or bylaws?
This is on the Constitution. For amendments of the Constitution, you need 2/3. Let's go back to this again.
The solution amendment. There we go.
Yeah. Are you
At least
there already on
2/3 of
yours?
those eligible to vote must have voted in such an election.
Not approved, just voted in the election. So
Yes.
that's going to be, that's 2/3 of 400 and some people. It's like 400 people because the kids obviously aren't voting. So that's going to be something we're going to have to work hard on, is to get people to vote.
Show up to vote.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's think about ways you could do this, because we're probably not going to get them all to show up to a meeting. And then if we're like voting verbally, that is going to take freaking ever. I mean, my proposal would be that we send out essentially some kind of absentee ballot to everybody.
I was thinking the same thing.
And we can even do that in the form, we could even do that in a form of a survey sort of thing, if we don't want to, because like the old system of, and then you print it out, and then you sign it, and then you scan it, and then you send it back in. We can do it if we use the survey equipment we already use, like for the Powwow VIP, RSVP and stuff like that. It'll tell us who voted and how they voted. We can just print that up and export it.
That would be perfect.
And then we're not going to be like counting things and trying to keep hold of different papers flying everywhere. And people aren't going to have to
Perfect.
print and scan and do it again.
Yep. That
And
sounds
then
great.
if we have elders that can't do that, I will call. I've got a couple people that have volunteered that can maybe work with elders on getting their votes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so but that's going to be kind of the hard part, is getting enough of those votes, and it may take us some time to get there. All right, any other thoughts, concerns?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move to adjourn the meeting.
Second. All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
Bye.
all opposed? Unanimous. Meeting adjourned.
Okay. Let's see, where's my stop back a second. This is Danielle and her fat fingers.